Welcome back to River Funsies. On this episode, we're going to talk about other public hunting opportunities in the state of Texas, and those will include the Army Corps Engineer properties, military bases. We'll also talk about stream law, what that is, and the Texas Parks and Wildlife leases, and the National Forest of East Texas. Last year, I made a video that discussed the annual public hunting pass, the app, and the booklet that you get mailed to you, and that offers a lot of opportunities for hunters, but there's more. There is absolutely more opportunities out there. Some of these hunting properties will overlap. Some of them are in the annual public hunting guide. Some of them are not. It does require some research because there's no one location to find all the places that you have a chance to go hunting. So it's on you to do the research. There is an app out there called the Onyx app that does have a lot of these places listed, and that might be a good place to start, but it is something that does require a subscription. So the first one I listed was the Army Corps of Engineers, and unfortunately they don't have a interactive map or an app on their own to look up information. So looking at this, I discovered that some of the properties listed do not allow hunting, or they don't currently. And this is a document that probably gets updated every year. So it's good to make note of changes. You could read the whole thing, or you could just type in Control F. And what that function is going to do on your keyboard is allow you to search out keywords, specific terms. So if you typed in Control F, white-tailed deer, it'll show you everywhere in the document that has white-tailed deer listed. Or Granger Lake, it'll show you everywhere in the document that those terms are listed. And that's going to save you a lot of time if you don't want to read the whole thing, or if you just need to reference it for specific questions. But I will leave a link to this in the video description, and you can take a look at it and see if there's anything that might be close to you that matches your hunting preference. And all of these are adjacent to a lake, so could have yourself a little casting blast if you play your cards right. The next one we'll look at is military bases. So it is wrong to assume that hunting or fishing on a military base is strictly reserved for people associated with different branches of the military. That is incorrect. Fort Hood, for example, does allow for public hunting. It does require some registration because they want to keep track of people who are using the property there in case they need to utilize it for training or some other activity. They need to know who's there, where they're at, and be able to make sure that nobody gets hurt. And Fort Hood is a massive location, which is near Killeen, Texas. So definitely take a look at this information. I will also leave a link in the video description for Fort Hood and the opportunities available for you. There is also a base in West Texas that allows for public hunting. That would be Fort Bliss. It has the same registration website as Fort Hood does, and has all the information available for public hunters, and it has a drawing system similar to the Texas draw system for different species in different locations. And don't assume just because you're in West Texas there's no public hunting areas in the state. There is. Fort Bliss. So please take a look at this. I will also leave a link for Fort Bliss in the video description. So it's certainly out there in El Paso. And, being in El Paso, you probably have easier access to New Mexico for the hunting opportunities available there. But doesn't hurt to give this place a look over. And this doesn't mean these are the only 2 military bases in the state that allow for the public to access for hunting. There might be more. These are just the 2 that I found. You may want to ask a game warden what other opportunities there are, especially one that is located in, a place that you would like to hunt. Call that district's game warden to speak to them about if there's military bases or any kind of, public areas that aren't listed in the public manual, and, see what they have to say. This base, Camp Bullis, is a little more restrictive. This is going to be in the San Antonio area. And the public does not have access unless you are associated with the service, the military service. If you are active duty, if you work for the Department of Defense, if you're retired, but that would include a lot of people. There's a lot of veterans in Texas, and this would be a good spot for you if you fall into one of these categories. So, same registration website, such as the other military bases that I mentioned, and take a look at it. So Texas stream law is a little more hazy. It's a little more of a gray area, but any river or stream within the state of Texas that meets a certain criteria of water flow is available for the public to hunt on. It's available for public use. What's important, and I can't stress this enough, is that you want to speak to your local game warden about any areas that you would like to utilize stream law in before you do it. The rules are kind of different. You can't have any projectiles that leave the natural bank of the river. So if there's an embankment on each side of the river, that's good. You want to have the game warden's information with you in case some angry landowner or somebody tries to challenge you on being at a certain location when it's well within your rights. But I just have to stress this one more time. Speak to a game warden on any lake, on any river that you want to utilize Texas stream law on, because they can give you the information you need to be able to hunt safely and legally, and that alone should allow thousands of more acres of area to be available to you to hunt on. So the last one that I mentioned is going to be a list of leases, all on the Texas Parks and Wildlife website. This is a directory of paid hunting leases that are available to people in the state, and it'll show the county, the name of the lease, contact information for the lease. If you register for this, you will have more access to information regarding each one, and it'll show you cost, how many people are available to use it, what kind of animals can be targeted. So this is a good resource to find out what's available in your area, kind of give you an idea of what prices are. But, just know that this isn't strictly the only places that leases are available. There's other private leases out there. You may want to check with your employer. Your employer may have a lease that is strictly for employees, just depending on who you work for. But this is a good start. This will also give you kind of a price guide as to how much some of these places cost for comparison. This is good market research if you go out and start talking to people about hunting on the property and they start throwing around numbers. So be sure to register if you're interested in this. It's all right there. And lastly, the National Forest and Reserves in the east part of the state offer different activities that are not allowed in other parts, such as hog trapping, to name one. So they don't offer a very specific website that has maps or anything like the annual public hunting guide. So it's up to you to find out what's available to you. And like, share, and subscribe. And let me just say one more time, talk to a game warden. You want to find out what's available, what's legal, and stay out of trouble and have a great time. Good luck. Have a good one.